Okay, so in this video, we will step away from Scratch and the simple program we did in Scratch last video, and we'll actually do it in legitimate Python. So just to remind you, this is kind of what we saw last time in Scratch, which is like the first program that everybody makes. And again, there's two components to this code. There was the yellow one that pretty much talks about when this code gets activated. And then the second one is just a simple kind of command where the little fox guy would just say hello world. So how do we do this in actual Python? Well, for that, I mean, there's many different programs. I think for this year, I will just use the Online Python program or IDE. So if you just Google Online Python or go to this website, then we can get started. So there's already sample code here that they give you. So to kind of draw comparisons between Scratch and what we have here on the screen, we can look at it this way. So this right here in Scratch is the same thing as this window here. That is where your code goes. Your output, so pretty much the screen in Scratch, where the fox is going to be down here at the bottom. And in Scratch, they give you all of these functions, but in Python, you are kind of on your own, but also not. There's this thing, so if you just type in first letter, it will automatically try to fill it with functions that start with the same letter. So let's create a code where pretty much we will make the computer say hello world, and it will print down here. So we'll just delete everything that's up there. And in Python, the way we make the computer do this is we say print. That is how we make the computer say something. In Scratch, that is the same thing as using the say command. And then we have to open with brackets, because inside of these brackets is where we put our message. So like hello world lives inside of this block. So the brackets are our block, but we also have to do one more step, and that is put quotation marks, because hello world is a sentence. Then our little green flag is this run key. And when you run it, you get your output hello world, just like you would in Scratch where the fox says hello world. And just like before, I can say print, it's nice to meet you. I can have two print statements right next to each other. And if I run this now, it will say, hello world, it's nice to meet you. Now in Scratch, I also asked the question, how are you? And I wanted to tell the fox how I was doing. And then I wanted the fox to tell me how I'm doing, right? So I pretty much set up this. I had two print statements. So this was my code, and I ran it. And same thing's happening here as it happened then. I had two statements printed to the screen, but I had nowhere to put my answer. And sure, you can see down here, there's a place to put your text, and if I enter, nothing happens. So the program must ask the user, me, for an input. In Scratch, this is how we did it. We used the ask command. So it was a different command. So what is the command in Python? Well, instead of print, we'll say input. And now if you run it, hello world, how are you? And you can see that the program is still running because I'm able to stop it, so it's running. And it is waiting for me to say something. So I say good, I hit enter, and then nothing happens. Now in Scratch, we automatically had this block called answer, which remembered the answer to our question. In Python, we don't have it. So what do? Well, we actually solve it the same way that we solved it in Scratch, which is we create a variable, and then we store our answer in that variable. And the way we do this, so I can create a variable called answer. And how do I store this variable inside of this answer? Well, I just say answer is equal to all of that. So the input gets stored inside of the answer. So it kind of goes right to left. Now if I run it, hello world, how are you? Good, I hit enter. Again, nothing happens because I'm not using this variable. I only am remembering my answer in here. So if I want to now say good, if I want the computer to actually say good, and now I will print answer. So let's test this out. How are you? Good. And then it prints good. This good comes from here. You might ask yourself, why is it that here we have to have quotation marks? Because that's a sentence and here we don't. And the reason is, if I had quotation marks here and I ran this now, it will just say the sentence answer. It wouldn't actually say the variable. It wouldn't give us the value that this variable holds. Now to replicate this problem that we had there, where we had two questions, and then we wanted to say both of the names. So here, I will change the first question to, what is your first name? And I'll rename the variable. I'll call it fname for first name. And I'll create a second question. What is your last name? And I will have to create a new variable for it called lname for last name. And you have control over these. You don't have to call them lname or fname, but you do want to keep them kind of semi-organized so you know what you're talking about. And I don't need this print. I don't need it to say hello world. And I no longer have the variable called answer, so I cannot call that, but I can say, I can ask for the first name. So if I run it now, what is your first name? Bob. Last name, bananas. It will print out Bob. If I say lname for last name, same thing. It will say bananas. How do I print them both at the same time? Well, you can have two print statements, but there'll be a problem with that. So if I print first name, last name, it will print Bob, banana on separate lines. I don't want to print it on separate lines. I want to print it on one line. So how can I do that? Well, what if I say fname, lname? So fname space lname. If I run, it gives me an error. So how can I fix this? Well, just like in Scratch, we had to use this join method. So we joined first name and last name. In Python, the way you do the join thing is you just say plus. You just add a plus in between them. You run it. What is your first name? Bob. Last name, banana. And we get Bob Banana, again without a space bar, just like we did in Scratch for the exact same reason. And the fix for it will be the exact same. We have to add another join statement, and inside of it we add a space bar. The way you add a space bar, you just say quotation mark. So quotation mark, and inside we add a space bar. Now we get Bob, space bar, banana. And now the whole world is unlocked, just like in Scratch. We can add whatever we want, because now we essentially know how to use this. I can say hello, comma, space bar, all of this, hello, and it should say hello Bob Banana, right? And there it is, hello Bob Banana. So that's it for video number 1. This is a direct comparison to the previous video, Scratch programming number 1, where we did the exact same things except in Scratch.